Let's do it. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وقدوتنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم. اللهم علمنا بما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Everybody, welcome to beginning classical Arabic Saturday morning. Let's do it. So we have an exercise ahead of us. Recall that we were focusing on feminine forms. Okay, so we have feminine forms of nouns, right, with the ta marbuta, and we have feminine forms of verbs with ta maftuha, and we have feminine forms with possessive pronouns. Okay, so this is kind of what this lesson is trying to bring it all together. So when it comes to asma, when it comes to names or nouns, we have طالبة, right? مدرسة, مهندسة, طبيبة, right? The ta marbuta is the sign of it being feminine. When we have verbs, we just learned we have فعل if we want to make it third person singular feminine, فعلت, ذهبت, كتبت, ركبت, right? All these sorts of things. It all is coming back to the ta maftuha. And finally, we have possessive pronouns. Okay, so when it comes to the possessive pronoun for you, translated as your, it's going to be ki, right, instead of ka. When it comes to her, instead of his, it's going to be ha. And those are the only feminine possessive pronouns that we've learned so far, and that'll do us for now. So what we're going to do here, check the example. Well, the instructions: change the pronoun, meaning the possessive pronoun, in the following sentences to feminine, as demonstrated in the example. أين قلمك يا أبي? We are speaking to a man, and so that masculine person is going to possess the pen, which makes it أين قلمك, ka, instead of ki, right? Now what they want to do, they're going to spot you the feminine person, and all you have to do is change the question to reflect the feminine pronoun. So instead of أين قلمك, now it's أين قلمك يا أمي, right? So all of these, يا أبي, يا محمد, يا سيدي, يا علي, يا أخي, يا خالد, يا خالي, يا عمي, يا حامد, right? All these are going to be addressing men. And then يا أمي, يا آمنة, يا سيدتي, يا فاطمة, يا أختي, يا خديجة, يا خالتي, right? All of these are going to be addressing women. So all you're going to do is using the exact same question, changing the possessive pronoun from masculine to feminine. And just be careful, because they're not always going to be questions with أين. We have عندك, right? We have ألك, we have من أين, right? أمريض أين, right? So we're going to see a lot of different questions, and this is going to be, I think, a really, really good exercise for where we're at. So going right down the list, number one, read the example and then change it to feminine. Go ahead, Sa'ir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. أعندك قلم يا محمد.
Ya Muhammad, do. Remember that?
نعم. Yeah.
We use ya, this drops tanween.
Yes.
Good. What's it going to be feminine?
أعندك قلم يا آمنة.
Very good. Excellent. And just translate that for us for good measure. That was very well done.
Do you have a pen, Muhammad or Muhammad? And for the feminine version, do you have a pen, Ya Amina? Do you have a pen, Ya Aminatu?
Very good. And Sa'ir did a great job putting the tanween on qalam, right? عندك قلمون, because he's asking for a pen, any pen, right? Very good, excellent job. Number 2, Sahar.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Okay. So أين بيتك يا سيدي?
Good. And the feminine?
أين بيتك يا سيدتي?
Fantastic, very good. And translate that for us.
أين بيتك? Where is your home? Where is your home? Sir, master, sir.
Yeah, something like that. We would say sir. Master's a little dated in English.
And for the feminine, it will be, where is your home? Where is your house? For Sayyidata, it's gonna be
However we want
Miss,
it, right? My lady, maybe.
my lady, Miss.
Very good. And that's fantastic. Great job. And I'll just point out an additional little thing, that why is baytu with a dhamma? Because it's marfu'. Why is it marfu'? Because it is part of a jumla ismiya. Aina baytuka. Straighten it out. Baytuka aina. Right? So baytuka or baytuki, it is mubtada. It is mubtada, and that's why it is marfu', and it is with a dhamma because it's a singular noun. Great job. Okay, next up, someone from the Sheikh family, number 3.
أهذا دفتر لك يا علي. So أهذا دفتر لك يا علي.
Yeah, Fatima too. Yes.
Yeah, Fatima too.
Yes, very good. And interesting, I guess you guys have the older version, because here in mine they have alaka هذا الدفتر يا علي. And so in yours it says هذا دفتر لك. Is that what it says?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So, and we've explained before the slight difference in emphasis, right? Here we're most concerned about, like, the notebook is given and we're wondering whose it is. Is it yours? Right? We're emphasizing yours here with this construction. Alaka هذا الدفتر يا علي. Right? Whereas if we had flipped it, then we maybe have multiple possessions and we know that they are Ali's, and we're kind of narrowing down maybe something for Ali. هذا الدفتر لك يا علي. Maybe there's multiple sorts of objects that are there. Good. And the switch to feminine was nice and smooth. Alaki. Yep, straightforward. So we've only dealt with possessive pronouns up until this point, right? Ka, ki, ka, ki, ka, ki. Number 4 is going to give us something a little bit different. Dr. Zia, go ahead.
Sheikh, I have a quick question.
Oh yeah, please.
So on the feminine, I don't know, don't we change hada to hadihi, or we just
Fantastic question. Fantastic question. Who wants to answer? Somebody else answer that question.
The book itself is not feminine, and you refer.
There you go. Right. What does hada refer to?
Thank you.
Hada does not refer to the person we're speaking about. Hada refers to the object. The object in this case is masculine, right? So this is really the only difficulty when it comes to keeping track of gender in Arabic. Being able to differentiate and keep track of who am I speaking to, what am I speaking about, right? There might be a situation where we're talking to a man and we're talking about a feminine object. There might be a situation where we're talking to a man and we're talking about a masculine object. There might be a situation where we're talking to a woman and we're talking about a masculine object. And there might be a situation where we're talking to a woman and we're talking about a feminine object. So there's four possibilities. And we have to, it's a little bit tricky to keep track. So hada refers to daftar. Daftar is a notebook. It's a masculine object or a masculine noun. So that's what hada refers to. Whereas laka is about the person who possesses that notebook, which in the first example is male, and the second example is feminine. Very good question though, because that really, really is the heart of what this whole lesson is about. So, Dr. Zia, can you do number 4 for us? We'll see something a little bit different.
من أين أنت يا أخي؟
Very good.
من أين أنت يا أختي?
Very good. And translate that for us.
From where are you, oh brother?
Yes.
And same thing, where are you, oh sister?
Yes. Fantastic. So why was that different? Because previously, 1 through 3, we had been dealing with possessive pronouns, kaf to ki, ka, ki. Right? Now we have a subject pronoun, right? Ana, nahnu, huwa, hiya, anta, anti. Right? Min aina anti. Because it's now it's actually the subject. Anta and then anti. Very good. Was not fooled. That's a really poor job of penmanship there, but that's okay. Number 5, going down to Brother Muhammad.
Aina abuka ya Khalid? Khalidu.
Yes, good.
Aina abuki ya Khatijatu.
Very good. Very good. Excellent work. So see how now we're back to our possessive pronouns, ka, ki. So here, whose father is it? It's a man's father, father of the man, and so it's ka. Here, Khadija, whose father is it? It's a woman's father that we're talking about, and so it has to be ki. Okay, bonus question, Mohammed. What grammatical case is abuka, and how can you tell?
Abuka
From
is
the 5 nouns.
noun, yeah.
That's not grammatical case. Noun is the part of speech. It is a noun, correct? It's one of the 5 nouns. That's also correct. But is it marfu'? Is it majroor? Is it mansub? And why? Is it in the nominative case? Is it in the genitive case? The accusative case?
Is it a mansub?
Okay, what's your evidence? You tell me. I ask the questions here. I'm just kidding. What would it look like? What were the rules for the 5 nouns? What does one of the 5 nouns look like when it's mansub? What's the sign of it being mansub?
Fatha.
Fatha? Everybody agree with her, right? Muhammad agrees with her. Sheikh family agree with her. Sister Musarrat. Okay, we have some dissension here. Sister Musarrat and the Sheikh family say no, no, no. Okay, let's hear it. Opinion number 2.
You're asking about the word abu?
Yes.
Yeah, it's marfu because it has a wow. Abu.
Okay, so you're saying it's marfu' because of the wow. What about this fatha though, Sister Musarrat? It's got a fatha at the end.
No, that's related to Khalid.
That's because of Khalid. Okay, so you're telling me that this is fixed, huh?
It's not fixed. Depends on who the person is.
Right. As far as grammatically, like for grammatical case, it's fixed. It's mabni, even if it's going to change due to who the pronoun is referring to. It's fixed in the sense that it's not going to change based off of the grammatical case, whether it's marfu' or mansub or majroor. And so Sister Musarrat says that this is marfu' because of the waw, or at least the sign that we can tell that it's marfu' is because of the waw. Okay, that's different. Sheikh Ahmed, do you have anything to add?
No, it's the same thing because of the wow.
Yes, exactly. So we talked about, in our very, very kind of brief intro about how different words or different types of words demonstrate grammatical case. Okay. Up until a certain point, we were only working with words that showed that they were marfu' with a dhamma. Okay. This is called al-alama al-asliya. This is like the default or original sign or indication that something is marfu'. Just like you learned that the kasra is the sign of it being majroor, just like you learned that the fatha was the sign of it being mansub. Those are called al-alamat al-asliya, right? They are the default indications of grammatical case, but they don't apply to all types of words. They apply to, I'll just stick to the simple ones that we've learned. They apply to singular nouns and broken plurals, okay? Which we haven't dealt with plurals really yet very much, so don't worry about that. But singular nouns and broken plurals, they demonstrate grammar like this, okay? Dhamma, kasra, fatha. And those are going to be, you know, honestly, the majority of words that you deal with. However, there are different types of words that demonstrate grammatical case somewhat differently, okay? Some of the, and these signs are called far'iyya, they're alamat far'iyya. They're basically secondary. Oh, that's even better than default or primary indications of grammatical case and secondary indications of grammatical case. So these dhamma, kasra, fatha are our primary signs of grammatical case, and secondary ones include waw, ya, and alif. There are certain types of words where waw is the sign of it being marfu'. There are certain types of words where ya is the sign of it being majroor, and alif, not fatha, is the sign of it being mansub. Which types of words are these? We've only learned one type of word so far, and that is the 5 nouns. Okay, al-asma' al-khamsa. 5 families, the 5 nouns. I think you have to be Italian to get that joke. The 5 nouns. Okay. What are the 5 nouns? We are asked. Let's see if I can run out of space here. We have Abu, Akhu, Hamu, those are the 3. You can pair them as 3. They're easy to remember because they're all on the same phonetic pattern. Abuka, Akhuka, Hamuka. And then the 2 weirdos are fem, which can be done fuka, and dhu. Like we say, dhul qarnayn, right? One who possesses. Dhul jalali wal ikram, right? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So those are our, and it's typical to forget hamuka because it's not very often used. You know, like you're going to use abuka and akhuka a lot. And even dhu you'll use a lot. Fuka a little bit less, and hamuka even less than that. If we're looking at these 5 nouns, we can group them according to different ways. So if we're looking at phonetic patterns, we have 3 and 2. Okay, abuka, akhuka, hamuka are all in the same phonetic pattern. Fuka is different because it has 1 less letter. And that indicates that it's a little bit special because fuka, you have the option of 2 potential ways to write it. You can write it, with the meme, femuka, in which case it does not, it takes the primary signs of demonstrating grammar with the dhamma on the meme, or you can drop the meme and use the waw, or fuka. So you have an option there to do one or the other. The other peculiarity is dhu, right? All of these words, abuka, akhuka, hamuka, and fuka, 4 out of the 5. This rule demonstrating that it's marfu' with a waw and that it's majroor with a ya, and that it is mansub with an alif, only apply when they are possessed, when they are part of mudaf ilayh, either with a possessive pronoun or a word after it that possesses it. However, dhu doesn't exist in Arabic except that it is part of a mudaf ilayh construction, right? So where it's possible to have eb, right, as a standalone word, and that's going to have your primary sign of being marfu' or majroor or mansub because it's not possessed by anything. You can't use dhu in a sentence without it being possessed by something. Okay. So that's a little brief review of the five nouns. Is that clear? Everybody's good on that? Any questions related to the five nouns? So back to Sister Sahar. If it were mansub, it would be abaka with an alif, because ab, when it is possessed or part of a possessive construction, demonstrates the accusative case with an alif, abaka. Or if it were majrur, it would be abika. Min abika, ra'aytu abaka, wa huwa abuka. Any questions about that? No? We good? Okay, let's roll down to Sister Musarrat for number 6. This is a nice little different one.
Okay, my book's a little different.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll go by this. أمريضة أمريضة أنت يا خالتي.
Okay, so you cut right to the answer, right? Very good. So the example was
Oh, I'm
Amari.
sorry, I should have read this. I'm sorry.
No worries.
أمريض أنت يا خالي.
Yeah.
أمريضة أنت يا خالتي.
Fantastic. Very good. Okay, do you want to translate that for us?
Are you sick, oh uncle? Are you sick, oh aunt?
Fantastic. Okay, great job. So this is an interesting one because it now has two things that need to be changed to reflect the gender, right? Previously, the only one that stuck out was the one that Dr. Zia did over here. What was it? Ain? No. Where is it? Oh, min aina anta, right? Everything else was dealing specifically with possessive pronouns. Here we have a subject pronoun, anta. So we had to go enta, enti. Now we have two things we have to account for. Okay, we're asking, are you sick? Okay, so we have to now change the subject pronoun, and we have to change the descriptive word, right? The khabar, right? Anta maridun, anti maridatun, right? Which is the khabar of the sentence. We have to change it in order to reflect the gender. So amaridatun, we have to add a ta marbuta because this is a noun, ism. And then we also change the subject pronoun, anti. Ya khalati, oh my maternal aunt. Great job. Everybody see that? Okay, back to the top. Sister Sahar, number 7.
ألك
Oh, number 7.
oh sorry
Okay.
أين بيتك يا عمي
Good.
أين بيتك يا عمتي
Very good. And translate that for us.
where is your home uncle
Very good.
and where is your home auntie?
Very good. Yes. Okay. And then we remember that the difference between am and khal is that am is a paternal uncle from your father's side, and khal is a maternal uncle. Very good. Next up, number 8, Brother Saad. What?
لعلك علك أخ يا محمد.
Good. Very good.
And it's going to be alaki أخ يا سعاد يا سعاد يا سعاد.
Fantastic. Very good. I'm really happy that you resisted the urge to make everything feminine, right? Because we're asking about a brother, right? And it would have been tempting to go alaki ukhtun ya su'adu, but that's not the exercise, right? The exercise. Okay, we have some discrepancy. Bint versus bait. Oh, you're right. This is bint. Yeah. So bait, bint, it's the same sort of principle. That was the last question. Thank you for pointing that out. For this one, yes. So the exercise is not about changing the gender of the object we're talking about. It's about changing the gender of the person that we're talking to. So Brother Sa'id did that very well. Alaki, akhun, ya su'adu. Good. Sheikh family. Spool. Oh, well, we don't. No, you can. Someone from the Sheikh family do number 9.
ماذا عندك يا أخي؟ ماذا عندك يا أختي?
Very good. And that's a very general question. What do you have? Right? Maybe you'd ask your toddler that. You know, they have something in your mouth or you have something behind your back. Like, what do you have? Right? Very good. Mada. What? Right? Very open-ended. Not a yes or no question, an open-ended question. Good. And Sister Asma, could you do number 10?
Assalamu alayka ya abi. Assalamu alayki ya ummi.
Very good. Excellent work.
Assalamu alayki.
Yep. Very nice. So we see, and this is common in the Arab world, right? In non-Arab world, we just say alaykum and be done with it, right? We use the taglib, what it's called in grammar, where we just say you plural. This is the possessive pronoun for you plural. I'll give you a second say. You plural, and we just leave it like that, right? But in the Arab world, you will find people will use the corresponding possessive pronoun to who they're talking to. They will say salam alayk. I'll just say it to one person, masculine, or alayki to one person, feminine. Yeah, Brother Sa, you have a question?
Yes, just a quick question regarding ya Su'adu. Is there any indication to tell us that that's a feminine name, or that's just something that you have to know that Su'adu is a feminine name?
Very good. You're right. This one we just have to know because
Okay.
it is not feminine, or I should say, it does not have the usual sign of being feminine. Okay. So there's some names that are clearly masculine, like masculine linguistically and masculine in meaning, like Hamid. And there are some names that are feminine in meaning and feminine linguistically, like Aisha or Khadija, right? Because they have the tamarbuta in the end. So that's easy. Then there are some names that are masculine in meaning, but feminine linguistically, such as Hamza, because Hamza too has a tamarbuta, or Usama too, right? These types of names, Muawiyah too. And then there are other names that are feminine in meaning, but appear masculine linguistically, like Su'adu. Okay, so which one do you go with? Do you go with, if we're talking about changing pronouns and changing this or whatever, do we follow the linguistic markers or do we follow the meaning? And the answer is we follow the meaning, right? Even if it has a tamarbuta. This is a hukum aghlabiyya. This is a general rule that, let's say this, that's not, well, I guess we couldn't say that. So with tamarbuta, the vast majority of words with tamarbuta are feminine, both in meaning and linguistically. Whereas a small minority, a few exceptions, are not. Good question. Okay, awesome. We have some more time. Let's move on. أنث الفاعل في كل من الجمل الآتية. That's a really nice sentence. Oh, okay. Can I diverge a little bit? Should we take a little dive? So recall, just because it's relevant to what we said before, with morphology. Okay, we're talking about forms of the verb. We said that form 1, represented by Roman numerals in English, of the verb is fa'ala, or on the phonetic pattern fa'ala. Fa'ala. Okay. And this, by the way, extra little thing for you. This does not mean that in every single case it's going to be fatha in the middle, right? It's more about Are there any extra letters? Is anything doubled? Right? That's more of what we're talking about here. There are like kadhiba, right? The verb for to lie. Kadhiba, right? The middle letter can have a kasra, but it's still considered on this pattern because we're talking about the da da da, right? You hear it, it's like the rhythm. Fa'ala, right? That's still form 1. Oops. So that was form 1. Okay, form 2, we double the middle letter, right? Fa'ala. And we talked about the 3 meanings that that can connote. It can talk about intensity. It can talk about something that's done repeatedly over and over. And it can make something transitive that was not transitive before. So make something take an object, whereas before it was a verb without an object. Okay. If we want to make a command from form 1 verbs, what we have to do, it's a little bit more complicated. We have to go to the present tense. So let's say yaf'alu, and we haven't learned this yet, so don't panic. We will learn this in due time. Okay, yaf'alu. And then from the present tense, we derive the command, if'al. And there's some phonetic rulings that apply to that we won't go over now. If'al, okay? When it comes to making commands in the second form, we don't have to go to the present tense at all. We just go right to fa'il. This is the pattern of commands from the second form verbs. Fa'il, doubled middle letter. Oops, kasra on the middle letter. I wrote a fatha, sorry about that. And ends with a sukoon. Right? So annith is an example of this, okay? Anatha, if we take the root, hamza, noon, tha, has to do with feminine, something being feminine, right? الذكر والأنثى, right? Surah Al-Layl. وما خلق الذكر والأنثى. Untha is from this root. Okay? In form 2, let's put these 3 letters on form 2, annatha. Annatha. To make something feminine. Right? So anatha is to be feminine, intransitive verb. Annatha, double the middle letter, is to make something feminine. Now we want to make a command. The instructions are commanding us here to make such and such a thing feminine. So now we get annith. And the original word has a sukoon on it. It only has a kasra on it to break up the consonant cluster with the lamb that's coming. Okay, so if you're looking for a bit of something to chew on and digest, there you go. Annith. أنث الفاعل في كل من الجمل الآتية. Make feminine the doer of the verb or the subject in the following example. So we have the example. خرج. Look, we're in jumla fi'liya land. So look, now the previous exercise was mostly jumla ismiya. They're bringing us along with our corresponding jumla fi'liya. خرج محمد من البيت. فعل, فاعل, and then this is a prepositional phrase that's in the place of maf'ul. Okay? خرج, he left. Muhammadun, he's the one who did it. Min al-bayti, from the house. Muhammad left the house. Now we're going to change it, changing the subject. خرجت, our feminine form. آمنة, فاعل, مرفوع. من البيت, jar majroor, prepositional phrase. Okay, let's do it. We had left off with Brother Muhammad. Number 1.
ذهب المدرس
Good.
إلى الفصل.
Good. Excellent.
ذهبت
Yes.
ذهبت المدرس
Wow. Yeah.
مدرس
Yep. Yep.
المدرس إلى الفصل.
Yes. Fantastic. Nice work. You struggled through it and you did awesome. So what has to change? Two things here, because this is not a proper name. This is a title, teacher. ذهب المدرس becomes ذهبت المدرسة. مدرسة. Right? Because it is feminine. You said that. You said that. So fantastic. The normal or default form is ذهبت, but because now we have the whole consonant cluster thing with lam, we're going to have to put that kasra here. Also, Brother Muhammad did that. ذهبت المدرسة إلى الفصل. And notice here that this fa'il is on form 2. Getting back to our sarf lessons. Okay, so we know how to make the command. This is the command here, fa'il. How do we make the fa'il? Let's see, how am I going to run out of space here? So this is the command. If we want to make the doer, let's try to line up things here. Okay. All right. If we want to make the doer of the verb in form 1, it's usually on the wazn of fa'il. Right? Fa'il, with an alif added after the first letter and the second letter having a kasra. What is it going to look like in form 2? It's going to begin with a meme with a dhamma on it. Mufa'il. Yes. Mufa'il. Now you can make the fa'il for any verb in the second form. Mu'annith, mudarris, mufattish, mukassir, mughallib. Anything you want to do. If you take a verb, here this is form 1, the doer of that verb is fa'il. If you have a verb form 2, the doer of that verb is mufa'ilun, mudarrisun, mudarrisatun. Is that clear? We're seeing how the sarf is being mixed in with the batter.
So مدرس, the verb is darasa.
Darrasa. Yes.
Darrasa.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Let's go back from and extract it. So da, dal, ra, sin means to study. Dars, a lesson. Darasa, if we have it as a verb in the form 1, means to study. Darastu, I studied. If we put it on form 2, we double the middle letter. Darasa means to teach, to make someone else learn. Something that was intransitive now became transitive. Something without an object now has an object. And so now all we have to do is add the mu and change it to a kasra, and now we have the one who teaches, or literally the one who makes someone else learn. Mudarris. Same as muallim, right? Alima, to know something, intransitive. Allama, allama al-Quran. Allah says, Surah Ar-Rahman, He taught the Quran. Allama, to make someone know. Muallim, the one who makes someone else know. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Now we're getting into Arabic. MashaAllah. Okay, fantastic. Let's go number 2. I think we're down to Sister Musarrat.
ذهب أبي إلى المستشفى. ذهبت أمي إلى المستشفى.
Fantastic.
My father left the hospital. My mother left the hospital.
Fantastic. Very good. And that one's way more straightforward than the last one because we have we don't have to worry about breaking up the consonant cluster because abi and ummi is proper, right? There's no consonant cluster here. Dhahabat ummi. We don't even have to worry about mustashfa because it has an alif at the end, which means it's going to hide all changes in grammatical case. إلى المستشفى. المستشفى is technically في محل جر. It's technically, yes, in the genitive case, but it won't demonstrate that because of the type of word it is, ending with an alif. Let's try to finish this exercise and we'll call it a day. Back up to the top, Sister Sahab, sorry, number 3.
First one, okay. جلست طالبة في الفصل.
Very good. So she went right for the answer, no problem. Jalasat, okay, and she was pronouncing it word by word, and that's correct. Jalasat with a sukun. At-talibatu, right? Because we have to make both of them agree with the gender. I'm running out of space here. At-talibatu, and notice how talib and taliba are the fa'il on form 1 verb. Talaba, to seek. Talibun or talibatun is the seeker, literally, which they use colloquially for student. So that adheres to that morphological pattern. It's supposed to be just a Dhamma, but I kind of messed it up there. And if we're going to read it together, we're going to have to break up this consonant cluster by saying jalasatit talibatu. We're going to go this time to the ta because of it being a shems letter, because of it being a sun letter. We're not going to pronounce the lam. We're not going to pronounce the hamzat al-wasl. Jalasatit talibatu. Jalasatit talibatu. So we're going to double the ta and get there with a kasra. Fantastic. And the last one, Brother Sa'id, number 4.
خرج أخي من البيت. خرجت أختي من البيت.
Fantastic. And that's a nice, easy one to end on. خرجت أختي. No consonant cluster to break up. So we can give the full sukoon and ride off into the sunset. Any questions? Very good, everybody. Heavy stuff today.
Pretty good. We're going in deep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Trying to cover a range of stuff, right? So if you're just hanging on, there's going to be, just change the thing and do exactly what they say, and that's good enough for now. But yeah, if you're looking for a challenge, if you're looking to see some things that are deeper, this is the stuff that lies ahead of you. So I try to have something for everybody. Any other questions? Okay, great job, everybody. Excellent work and effort. And we will see you next time, inshallah. Ameen wa yakum. Yes, the immersion thing. Forgive me for the delay with the immersion class, or the enrichment class. There's been some discussion back and forth between me and other students over in Medina about how best to proceed. It doesn't look, I thought I was going to do kind of 2 birds, 1 stone thing, where I